Now it brings us to item J, consideration of resolution number 2010-22 to revise local legislation pertaining to the reduction of board. Will the presenter or I can do that?
I can. What this resolution does is it requests our state legislative representatives to introduce local legislation which would amend how members of the Board of Elections are appointed. And all it really does is it provides for a confirmation process by which the two political parties nominate a member to serve on the Board of Elections. That nominee would come to the Board of Commissioners for confirmation of that person to serve on the Board of Elections. And that's the only change.
Resolution to amend local legislation. Chair, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion that we approve resolution number 2010-22, supporting the introduction of local legislation amending certain provisions related to the membership of the Fayette County Board of Elections, allowing for the confirmation of Board of Election members by the Board of Commissioners.
Second. Chairman, sign.
Authorize the chairman to sign.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
I guess my first question would be is that I think I first found out about this on Tuesday. Has this board met and discussed the reformation of the elections, the Board of Elections on a Wednesday meeting? I don't have a recollection of ever doing that. We've got all the way to the point where we got a resolution. This is something that we're asking the state legislature to do that we've not even discussed in the planning section as far as I remember. The first time I got this, it was I read it and I didn't really understand it or anything, but I've reread it. I just wonder whether it's been vetted by the, or even proposed, or if there's anything similar to this that's gone through the Department of Justice for approval. And that this is a scenario that I see. This board would be put in a position to approve any candidate that the Republican Party would want to seat as a member of the elections board. Well, we're all 5 Republicans, so maybe that's not a big problem. But it also calls for the Democratic Party, or the party that gets the second greatest votes, which generally is the Democratic Party in this county, to also nominate somebody. So the 5 Republicans would then be looking over the shoulder of the Democratic Party and saying whether we want to have that person or not. And my opinion is that's not going to pass Justice Department for the Republicans to approve the Democratic nominee. And for that, I can't support this motion or resolution. Now, if it was simply just a matter of saying, well, if the person is a qualified elector, maybe that might fix the problem. And the whole vetting process would just simply say whether they're a qualified voter and whether they're a qualified elector in this county. In other words, they got to live in the county and they got to be registered to vote. And I guess I could probably live with that, and I would imagine that Justice would, but I can't imagine Justice Department or the Democratic Party putting up for this kind of nonsense. To put the Republicans in control of who their appointee is going to be.
Scott, would you explain what processes are available for selection of members of the Board of Election?
Chairman, it's been my experience that different counties do it different ways. There's really no preset or predetermined or predominant way. I mean, some jurisdictions use a grand jury, some jurisdictions use board of commissioners, some jurisdictions use political parties, some jurisdictions use the delegation to the General Assembly. Some jurisdictions use the DA. It's really all over place. I can't say that one's more popular than the other from what I know. So it's really up to this board as a policy matter as to how you want to establish that.
Is
There's
there
no
any
right or
recommended
wrong answer.
policy? Is there any recommended policy that's put forth by ACCG or any of the other agencies?
But it's my understanding they leave it up to the individual jurisdictions to choose how they create their board of elections.
Are there other jurisdictions that give the Board of Commissioners, such as is being changed to
Yeah,
confirmation procedure?
there's other jurisdictions that do that, there's other jurisdictions that do it the way we're doing it now, just.
Are you saying that one of the 159 counties, Scott, of Georgia, the Board of Commissioners approves, that's got the method that we currently have, and that is that you got the majority party and the minority party, that then, this has been approved, that one of the other 159 counties got one somewhere, like that,
That's how Henry County does it.
Henry County?
Yeah.
Maybe they got less Democrats than we do.
You know, there's some jurisdictions to where the political parties each appoint one, but the Board of Commissioners appoints 3.
Well, I guess that goes to the fundamental question, and that is this. This has not been discussed in a planning session, in my recollection. And it was something that I read, the first version. The first version still had some editing situation on it. I didn't see the final version until I got here tonight. But I really think that, our policy has always been, one, to talk about it in a Wednesday session. And after a Wednesday session, our policy, it's a written policy, it was established by this board in our first work session, that for it to go further, to be presented to this board in this fashion, at least 3 members had to study it. And I don't remember this ever being studied, ever being brought up, ever being discussed. And I want to leave this board kind of, I know that transparency has been a big issue, and folks don't think that things have been very transparent from time to time, but this is one that's not transparent to me.
Gentlemen, you have before you, resolution, what's your pleasure?
Well, there's a motion and a second.
Do we have a motion?
Yes, I made the motion.
I'll call the question. Did you read the motion?
Commissioner Horgan made a motion to approve Resolution 2010-22, supporting the introduction of local legislation amending certain provisions related to the membership of the Fayette County Board of Elections, allowing for the confirmation of Board of Elections members by the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Frady seconded the motion.
You vote for the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes, opposed likewise.